Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. You are here for the Technology Infused Home Care session. It is being presented to you by GrandCare Systems, and I am your host today, Laura Mitchell. A little bit about myself. I have been involved in the aging technology digital health market for about the past 15 years. I was a co-founder of GrandCare Systems, and now I run a digital health and digital marketing, guerrilla marketing firm called LMC. So I still am focused in the connected health and connected aging space, and I am a co-founding member of GrandCare Systems. So a little bit just to let you know, this is not, this presentation is going to tell you all about the market for home care providers using enabling technologies in order to increase revenues without expanding staff. If you are interested, this will not be a demonstration of GrandCare Systems. If you are interested in finding out more about GrandCare, you can visit us at grandcare.com. You can chat with us in the chat section. We are there. Or you can contact us, sales@grandcare.com, or by calling 262-338-6147. So a little bit about what GrandCare is. GrandCare is a communication, cognition, wellness assessment, and activity monitoring system. So essentially it is a touch-based technology that is designed to help people stay independent in their homes for longer. So onto the presentation. So why are we talking about this today? And I think for the past 10 to 15 years, we have been discussing how this market is coming. We have been talking about the aging tsunami. We have been hearing warning signs about how we're having more aging folks than caregivers, more aging folks than brick and mortar. So what are we going to do in order to get ready for this new booming marketplace? And I think the reason we're here today is because this market is here. It has come to fruition, and there is an untapped and unmet market need that we're going to talk about today. And those are some of those folks that are in their homes, perhaps don't need specific levels of care, but still need some care. So let's talk about that. So if we look at it, we're looking at 10,000 boomers who are signing up for Medicare every day, and this is going to continue for the next decade. Of course, people want to. Stay home. We know that there are so many studies that show us that people fear nursing homes worse than death. And of course, I don't have to preach to the choir here. I know everybody on this call knows. So according to Genworth Financial report from 2015, the national average cost of care per person was $4,000 per month. Of course, as we are all living longer, we can see how that is not a sustainable model. So we have to find solutions in order to marry together a hybrid model of hands-on care, perhaps facility-based care, and also technology-enabled care. So today in the marketplace, we have 33,000 in the United States home care providers that exist. And we have 12 million folks that are in need of home care. Now, that's in some way or another, whether they just need light private duty, non-medical care, or whether they need a nurse visit once a week. They're in need of some sort of health care. Some sort of home care. So what does that mean, though? That, we've got the market, so we've also got the challenges that we're dealing with from a home care model. And the greatest news is that the challenge isn't the market. The challenge isn't that the consumers aren't there. The challenge isn't that we don't have this demographic. We have folks that are in their home that need care. So fortunately, it is just a matter of how do we reach out to these folks that are currently not receiving care that need some care. Well, we have a lot of challenges in the home care business because there are so many folks that need home care, and there's a shortage of caregivers, right? So we have this severe shortage of workers. We're all sort of dealing from the same big pot of caregivers that are circulating around to different care-based communities and home-based caregivers. And so we're dealing with the turnover. We're dealing with having to train. It is incredibly hard work. The average pay, 2015, average annual home care income for a healthcare worker was $18,598 a year. So we can see that for that incredibly hard work, the pay isn't extremely high. So, what do we do with that? And what we see here is opportunity. There's also senior resistance to maybe having a caregiver at home or going into, skilled care. And so we're kind of seeing this untapped market of folks that need a little bit of care but are resisting it somehow or another. We also have a number of rural and remote clients. So those are folks that live farther away that may need some access to care. Maybe they don't need hands-on care 24/7, but they need some sort of care. And then we're having folks paying, home care providers paying for that, what we call windshield time. We're paying for caregivers to drive out to those folks that may need just to be checked in on. Of course, if we're looking at 24/7 cost of care to clients, that becomes high and hard to sustain over a long period of time. Of course, home care providers always have the regulatory hassle, required documentation, accreditation, and client satisfaction, fraud, theft, accountability, transparency, of course, of the caregivers. How do you make sure that the caregivers are arriving on time? All of that. And these are no new challenges here. Family caregiver communication. And then lastly, when we've got home care providers that are popping up all over the place, how do we differentiate? What is the competitive advantage? How are we going to make our service different than the caregiver, the home care provider next door? And, how do we make the clients happier? How do we make them stay with us instead of going to the other home care provider that's going to charge 50 cents less an hour next door? So that brings us to the opportunity. And the opportunity is taking a look at providing care in a whole new way. And I'm not saying that people don't need in-home care, because of course they do. There's just a number of untapped individuals that need something kind of in between. They need a transition care. Perhaps they're not quite ready for hands-on care. Perhaps they need it, but they're resistant to it. Perhaps they just need to be checked on. And there is a brand new unmet need where these folks need something, and why not go to the folks that already provide professional caregiving services? And so we introduced the concept of remote patient monitoring. And what is that? Well, remote patient monitoring is when technology enables for family members and or professional caregivers to monitor activity levels, telehealth, video chat. What does that mean? So those would be like wireless sensors that go in the home that help to monitor and assess activities of daily living. Now, I don't mean activities of daily living maybe in the way that you're talking about as far as grooming and the different ADLs that we talk about in long-term care. I'm just talking about activity patterns, activity levels. So maybe I just want to know, did mom get out of bed in the morning? Did she access her pills? Did she take her blood pressure reading? Is she accessing medication? And I can also complement that with a virtual video visit, a HIPAA-compliant video chat visit where I can reach in and take a look and make sure that mom's doing okay. I can give her that communication. I can give her that face-to-face value. But at the same time, and again, this doesn't have to be all or nothing. This could be a hybrid model of hands-on care in addition to remote patient monitoring. But this is a wraparound service that also enables me to offer more levels of safety, security, and care at a lower cost without having to have it be a hands-on person doing those things. So those are discrete activity sensors. So think of it in the same way as a home security system. So they would be small motion and temperature sensors that could tell you if activity was recognized at a certain checkpoint. Did the front door open? Did the caregiver arrive? Did the person let the dog out if they have a dog? And it's various ways to tell if dad has congestive heart failure. Did he gain 5 pounds in 2 days? In which case, I would need to maybe contact a clinician or the doctor's office and have to take a look at that. So it's the ability to provide care from anywhere. So how does it work? Like I mentioned, there's Bluetooth health devices. So that's maybe blood pressure, weight scale, pulse oximeter, glucometer. Those all have a Bluetooth chip inside that would report their reading automatically to a system, to a touch-based system in their home. And the wireless environmental sensors have to tell me, is the heat working? Is the air conditioner working? You know, back a couple of years ago, there was a big heat wave in California, years before in France, where hundreds of seniors ended up dying because either their air conditioner wasn't working or they were too frugal to turn it on. That type of thing is something that could be monitored and assessed from a long distance. And again, it doesn't mean that somebody needs to be monitoring 24/7 where they're watching graphs. It's more of, if this happens, then do this. If there's excessive motion for more than 45 minutes in the bathroom in the middle of the night, then shoot me a text message, call my sister, send me an email, whatever that is. If mom forgets to take her medication, give her a phone call and remind her that it's time for her to take her medication. So it's just ways, rule-based alerts that you can set up and customize per person. It also enables man-on-man caregiving to change into zone caregiving. So it does not negate the need for a caregiver. Instead, it amplifies a single caregiver where they can provide expertise and peace of mind to many clients at once. So you turn your man-on-man caregivers into zone caregivers. And again, it could be a hybrid model of care where someone needs hands-on care for light housework, laundry. Maybe they need to be taking grocery shopping, taking to church. Maybe they need help cooking meals. But in the interim, in the in-between time, this can be a wraparound caregiving service that you offer, and also allow family members to have that peace of mind knowing that mom or dad is safe and independent at home. It also can be an added revenue model to provide for an added fee access to the family members to also be able to log in and check on mom, set up rule sets so that they can be the ones that are alerted if they would like. So you could set up daily checkpoints to receive email, phone calls, or text alerts on client activity. And there's just so many that you can do. It's a rule-based technology where if this happens, then do this. If the client vitals are out of range, well, what is out of range for Mrs. Smith versus Mr. Smith? There are different levels. It can be customized per the person, and of course, what you need to know for that person. If they didn't access the kitchen or the fridge at mealtime, that might be interesting to know. If they didn't access, and it's very simple to know if something didn't occur. If you just had 2 what we call checkpoints per day, I want to know if mom doesn't access the coffee, where the coffee is in the morning. What does that mean? Maybe she's sick, something's wrong. She didn't go into the kitchen in the morning. I want to know at night if she never went into the bedroom at the end of the day. I mean, that would be 2 simple checkpoints, and I would know that something might be wrong. There are no cameras in the sensors, only on the touchscreen where there's video chat options, and it's a whitelisted video chat feature. But there are no cameras, and it just can let you know information that can indicate a potential issue. It can also notify to you and help you with, not only help you with accountability, but also let you know that your caregivers are doing the right thing and let the family know. Complete transparency. So we're talking about differentiation. This is complete transparency, letting the family members know that the tasks are being completed, that the caregiver is there, that if they would like to video chat when the caregiver is there and talk to the caregiver, that could be an option. And again, these are all revenue generating ideas. They could have access to do that for an added fee. They also can have that peace of mind, and you also can prove that things happened by either the motion sensors or the check off on the touchscreen. So you can be assured that your caregivers are completing tasks. And again, this is only if the caregiver is using it within the home. There are examples of hybrid options of this technology where you could just be providing virtual care to someone who isn't having an in-home care provider. You could be using it to help the on-site caregiver, or you could be doing both. So it can tell you things like the caregiver arrived and left on time, checking into the touchscreen. Now, I know there's a lot of technologies that do this type of thing. GrandCare and other technologies out there can integrate with other technology platforms that already do that, so you won't be checking in multiple locations. So when the caregiver checks in, they're presented with their care plan. Perhaps there are care coordination notes that need to be read before they start care. Maybe their client had a bad day the day before, had a fall, something changed in their health, and the caregiver needs to be apprised of that information. It's also a way to empower the resident and provide them with information on your caregiving organization and on the caregiver who is arriving. Provide Mrs. Smith with a photo of a new caregiver that's coming. Here's what this person's hobbies are. Here's what this person is like. Here's why we thought it would be a good fit for you, because here are the things that you have in common. Just making them feel like they are empowered and part of the caregiving process. They also can also let you know that the caregiver opened the fridge at mealtime. Again, that transparency and the peace of mind that the tasks are being completed. If it is time for a shower for the client, there should be sufficient activity going on in the bathroom during that period of time. There should be sufficient activity going on in the kitchen at mealtime. If the dog is supposed to be let out, there should be activity happening that ensures that the dog was let outside. Make sure that the caregiver isn't in places they're not supposed to be in the guest bedroom. It's just ways for complete transparency and accountability, but also for the family members to give them that added peace of mind and to reduce phone calls coming from those family members to your office where they can actually log in and see those things. If you don't want to let them log in, you can just send them the report on what's happening with their mom or dad and what the caregiver notes were. So one thing I also wanted to touch on today is also discuss, why technology now? So it's so clear that the cost of technology is going down. And I just wanted to include this, from a Best Buy Weekly Flyer in 1994, this computer package here that would cost $3,225 in today's dollars. And now you look at it and you can get a laptop for a couple $100. You can get a tablet for less than $100. So the cost of these types of technologies has been a hurdle throughout the last 14 years for technology providers such as GrandCare and other folks. Now that the cost of that hardware technology is going down, it is becoming more affordable and more of a no-brainer add-on for non-medical and medical home care services to provide a new level, a new service offering into the caregiving services that they're already offer. Also looking at the cost of cell phones, looking at the cost of computer speakers, all of that stuff. So the cost of technology are going down, and that is really good news for all of us in this space. So what does it look like when you have this client-centered care with technology as your vehicle? And like I mentioned before, the technology isn't going to do it on its own. It can't. It's like a telephone without anyone on the other end. This type of technology needs a caregiver who is going to be able to respond, listen, and connect. The technology isn't providing the care. The technology is amplifying the care. It's allowing more caregivers to be available to more seniors and disabled individuals out there. It's providing your team with a soapbox to be able to provide more care to more folks at once without having to increase staff. It could also be an entryway into a brand new model and brand new service of virtual caregiving that you offer in addition to your hands-on caregiving services, where perhaps one client's care manager can be managing dozens of residents at once. So the client-centered caregiver, the client-centered technology may be in this instance a touch screen that is always at point of care, that is always in the resident. It offers them a source of information. Weather, news reports, perhaps it offers a family connection where it's pictures and messages from family. It has a hook into Facebook photos. So the client doesn't need to be on Facebook in order to enjoy all of the photo experiences. Maybe they're able to watch video. Maybe the family and or the caregivers are customizing this experience because they know they love Little House on the Prairie. So they're going to put all of those YouTube episodes up on the system so that they can access it without having to even know that they're on YouTube. Maybe they're playing games, solitaire, tic-tac-toe. It is a source of entertainment, a source of connection, a source of information. It also can provide them with their daily schedule. Here's what you're doing today. Here's an exercise. But another feature that is an added revenue feature is that it can provide them with service ordering options. So they are able to order and request added services from your organization. Those could be as simple as, I need a caregiver to come and do this. They could also be a feature that would be not seeming like they are ordering a caregiver, but seeming like they are requesting some sort of concierge service. For example, I need someone to come over and do my laundry for me. I need someone to cook dinner for me. I need somebody to come over and do some light housework. I want to go to the store. I need somebody to come over and take me to the store and maybe make me dinner afterwards. So it becomes a much more empowering model where the resident who is already a client of your caregiving organization can order a la carte caregiving services and can reserve those services. Maybe they want a pizza brought and they're having something, and maybe they want somebody to order a pizza for them. Or maybe you're working together with third-party vendors where you're saying they can request and order that service from a third-party vendor and you will take a piece of that action. So there's all sorts of different capabilities for added revenue generating models. It also offers a care coordination feature. So when the client has this in the home, not only is your brand 24/7 available in the home, and if anyone has any questions, they will contact you. But if the client, when they receive this virtual caregiving service, isn't quite ready for hands-on care, they already have become a client. So when they are ready or when they want to order their first caregiving service, it's going to be from you. So it's just a brand new step into the prospect of prospective clients that will then become hands-on care clients as well. It also enables them to, with care coordination, if you do have caregivers in place, they can add the caregiving coordination notes, or like I said, GrandCare can interface with existing other software platforms and receive those caregiving notes so that everyone is aware of the care that was provided, delivered into the home, including the remote family members who could simply log in and see what happened. And if they have any questions, they can also add caregiving notes that will be provided to the care at entry. And again, all of this would be available using a PIN number at point of care, as well as remotely for the designated individuals who have a login. And from a caregiver side of things, the caregivers and the family members do not need to own any sort of hardware or equipment in order to access any of this information. All of the hardware, which is the touch screen and any of the sensors would be at point of care, and the remote caregivers would only need to log in using a secure web portal or the secure smartphone app. So once we've all decided, hey, this is a great idea, let's do this, then we start sitting there thinking, where's the ROI? How do I make money doing this? Where are my new revenue streams? Well, besides marketing, we'll talk about marketing in a minute, and that's, going to be differentiation and things like that. But let's talk about where the new revenue streams come from. And I did touch on this before. So one, it's the baseline product for new prospects. So you've got all of those leads that come in. You've got all of those leads, and you close maybe a percentage of them, right? So daughter calls in, wants mom to get care. They end up not doing it because mom's not ready. She doesn't want someone coming in the home. It's a struggle. All the family agrees she needs it, but she's not ready. So what happens then? Well, this provides a model to say, hey, so she's not ready, but we have this product that we can do this for, and we'll monitor that for X amount per month. And then if she decides to request services, she can do that. And you know what? We'll even video chat with her once a day or once a week for this added fee. We'll do this virtual video chat where one of our caregivers will be doing that video chat so she can meet Jane, her caregiver, and become comfortable with her before Jane actually goes into the home. And it just provides more comfort. And maybe Jane will be having coffee with her during the virtual visit. And then it becomes a natural progression into in-home care. It also could be providing monitored living, what we call monitored living. So that's separate caregiving. I can let the family members know if something seems wrong. And again, I'm not having to look at the graph and staring at Mary Smith's motion sensors. Instead, I'm having the system notify me of designated checkpoints. I just want to know if she got out of bed. I want to know if she accessed the fridge at mealtime. And I want to know if she took her nightly medications. Those are the three things I want to know. And if she didn't do those, I'm going to receive a phone call as her professional caregiver, as her virtual caregiver. And, from there, I'm going to let the family know. Now, if the family decides that this is a consistent problem, then it's the entryway into they need my care. She is not taking her evening medications, even though we're calling and reminding her to. We need a caregiver to go in and help that. It looks like she's having trouble making lunch. She's not remembering to. We're going to have an actual caregiver. But it becomes an actual proof, quantitative proof that this person might need some added caregiving services. And since the family members can see that, it makes it so clear that this person needs some added care, and it offers a doorway, an entryway into more care services. Again, it offers the notion of wraparound hybrid care. So we already provide maybe 8 hours of in-home caregiving services. This person doesn't want to do 24-hour. Maybe they need it, but they can't afford it. So what it offers is maybe I have a wraparound caregiving service where now I can have for certain hours of the day, it's just motion sensors and things and door sensors that trigger. If the front door opens in the middle of the night, I need to let someone know. How often is that happening? Well, we've just proven that we do need a night caregiver there. If a caregiver is downstairs in the guest room sleeping, and it is a sleeping caregiver that is helping to take care of this person, how many times did that caregiver get up during the night? We can provide quantitative information, proof at how many times that caregiver had to get up and assist. The system can also alert the caregiver downstairs by a phone call, email, text message, or turn on the light and let them know that Mrs. Smith has gotten out of bed and needs some assistance. So it provides the caregiver with that added information. Or perhaps there's just a call button at the bedside of the person where it will ring an alert and wake up the caregiver and let the caregiver know that this person needs assistance. So it can be added caregiving tools from within the home as well. Of course, we've got the service ordering model from point of care, so they can maybe order car service, which might mean that you just have a caregiver go pick them up. Maybe it's that they need some maintenance. Maybe they need their lawn mowed. Whether your caregivers are providing it or you're having a third party provide it with a little bit of referral fee to you, there are some new revenue streams there. And of course, just the virtual visit, where if they only had the touch screen, the touch-based system, and they had no sensors, and it was just the socialization check-in at the same time as a virtual visit to, indicate that somebody is okay. Those are all brand new revenue streams. Now let's talk about it from the revenue stream of business development and marketing. It is also a great source of differentiation. It's a way to reach into a new marketplace that currently is untapped. It's a new service offering technology. Infused service offering offers the competitive advantage, of course, to be able to offer the most modernized care when mom or grandma doesn't have a tablet, doesn't have a computer, doesn't have a smartphone, isn't able to participate in video chat visits with family members, isn't able to participate in Facebook. This allows them to communicate and coordinate with their own family members. And again, a lot of family members love this idea, but they're not sure how to do it. They're not sure how to monitor it. And that's where we so often get asked if professional caregivers will do this for them, because the family's very interested in the communication, but they aren't interested, they aren't equipped, and they don't have the expertise to do any sort of caregiving. So that offers that information. Quantitative proof, we already talked about that. And again, the brand presence in the home and lead generations for your not yet client. So before we conclude here, I just wanted to come up with some ROI example. And this is an example if, I just basically took it, if you did 20 systems, and for each system, and that would be a tablet-based system. That would be a system that had a tablet interface for the resident to be able to order services, to video chat, to check what the weather is like, to talk to their family, to watch videos, play games. So this, and of course your brand is on it, as well as contact information, for 20 of those systems. And for case of, for this example, I said, let's do one motion and temperature sensor per system. Now, the motion and temperature sensors are just one sensor. They both detect motion and they detect in-home temperature. So that can be helpful. You could be notified at any time if the temperature falls out of range, if the heat's not working, if the air conditioning is not working. Just indicate that the temperature is wrong within the home. And that can indicate various problems if the temperature is wrong. Either something is not working or the person is turning up or down the thermostat. So that's interesting to know just for peace of mind. But also one motion sensor that can indicate various things. Put it in the kitchen. You want to know if they got out of bed in the morning. You want to know if they access it during mealtime. You want to know if they access the kitchen when they're supposed to feed the dog or the cat or wherever that is. There's lots of ways that you can know something is okay. So in this scenario, you would pay a $14,000 investment for 20 systems, 20 clients for the first year, including the monthly. Client doesn't ever own the technology. You own the 20 systems and the 20 sensors after that point. In the first year, you would break even, assuming that you do the model that I've outlined on the right. In the first year, you would break even in less than 7 months. At 7 months, your profit, and this is your profit alone, would be roughly $1,600 per month, roughly $20,000 per year. And of course, that's without all of the a la carte services. That's without the service ordering, concierge service ordering. That's without added a la carte virtual visits. That's without added a la carte motion sensing and things like that. That's without added a la carte hands-on visits. That might be without letting the family log in as an added a la carte option. So, of course, this is a real small baseline version that you would make about $20,000 a year. So here's what the client pays in the scenario. They pay a $50 setup installation fee for this virtual technology. In other words, they basically pay for you to come in and do an assessment and determine where the one sensor is going to go, and determine, provide, if you choose, the family members with a login to be able to communicate. Charging $25 per week, which is maybe an hour, hour and a half, less than 2 hours of care, might include one virtual visit per week. It might include 24/7 rule monitoring. And that just means maybe you've set up 2 rules a day to let you know specific things that you want to know. You're worried they're not getting out of bed. You're worried they're not taking their meds. What are the worries? So we're going to set it up so that it contacts us, emails us, texts us. Let somebody from your caregiving staff know if something might be wrong. Well, you only receive an alert if something is wrong. If you start receiving too many alerts and too many things are wrong, then it provides ammunition to say this person needs some hands-on care. And it does only provide that you're going to respond to the alerts. If you actually need to go into the home, that would be an additional fee. So that would be, we're gonna have a call center that's just basically, or a couple folks on a call center that are going to answer these calls and let the caregivers know, let the family members know. And if somebody needs to actually physically go in and check in, that's going to be a premium last-minute drop-in fee. Of course, there's going to be a 24/7 request help button that the client might be able to press from the tablet. And again, that will be an added fee for response, for the drop-in response. And of course, providing that 24/7 family access and video chat would be an optional feature that you may want to offer just so that the family and the client are extremely happy with the product. They love the fact that they can communicate 24/7. They love that they feel empowered and connected and engaged, and they want to keep the system in place. And it's branded with your brand, so that if they would remove it out, they would not have, they would not know what it was except for your brand, and it would be accessed directly to your brand. So with that, I wanted to conclude today's presentation. I do want to say that we have this presentation recorded. We also do have the presentation available. If you are interested in having us customize a solution specifically for you, or do a private demonstration for your organization and customize to your needs, we can help you with all of that type of stuff, including specific and exclusive pricing. We can do that. Just contact us, info@grandcare.com or sales@grandcare.com, or give us a call at 262-338-6147. I want to thank you so much for your time today, and I will have a few folks on for the next 10 to 15 minutes on the chat section in case you have any questions or comments. But I do urge you, if you do have any personal, private questions related to your organization, that you give us a call, and we'd be happy to talk with you one-on-one about that. So thank you so much. This is Laura Mitchell from GrandCare Systems. Talk to you soon. Have a great week.